Biodiversity and Health. It is the variety and variability of life on Earth. It is typically a measure of a variation on a genetic, species, and ecosystem level. Terrestrial biodiversity is usually greater near the equator, which is the result of the warm climate and high primary productivity. Tropical forest ecosystems cover less than 10% of the Earth's surface and contain about 90% of the world's species.
Biodiversity is essential to human health. The well-functioning of the ecosystem, which we depend our food, our water, and our fresh air, and even aiding in the disasters, climate, and diseases.
Biodiversity is the variety and variability of life on Earth. For example, it is the interrelationship between the fauna and flora.
Health and biodiversity. Health is the foundation of basic human right. It is not free from illnesses but a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being.
Biodiversity means provide functioning ecosystems that supply oxygen, clean air, and water, pollination of plants, pest control, waterways treatment, and many ecosystem services.
For me, biodiversity refers to the plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms, for example, in ocean, forests, sea, and rivers.
In addition to the diversity among species, the concept of biodiversity includes the genetic diversity within species. One example is our own species, for we differ in a wide variety of characteristics that are partly or wholly genetically determined, including height, weight, skin and eye colors, behavioral traits, and resistance to various diseases. For plants are domesticated such as the rice, these differences may be considerable as an economic importance, for they are the source of a new disease resistance and domestic varieties. Here are some thoughts and ideas of MMG STS students.
It includes the living components like animals, plants, fungi, and etc.
Diversity, bio means buhay. Diversity, pagkakaiba at pagiging natatangi ng bawat organismo matatagpuan sa daigdig.
The total number of genetic characteristics in the genetic makeup of species. Here's the example of genetic diversity. Wood plant species in the domestic dog.
We should preserve every scrap of biodiversity as priceless, while we learn to use it and come to understand what it means to humanity.
Biodiversity has three concepts: the genes, the species, and the ecosystem. As we all know, the ecosystem includes even the community where we live in. This is an example of a healthy community, a healthy ecosystem.
There are four main forms of pollution that should be noted. The pace of the species of population declines and extinctions has risen dramatically over the last century. As the effect of climate change increased and the human activities such as agriculture, fishing, and hunting continue to inroad into most remote natural areas, the extinction of plants and animal species is due to the human activities that result to the loss of biodiversity.
Climate change has great effect in biodiversity, such as the destruction of habitat of different species, while in health, an existing illness may intensify or a new illness may emerge.
Climate change is expected to reduce biodiversity, which species can no longer survive in their current location.
Ang epekto ng climate change sa biodiversity ay number 1 is yung agrikultura na siyang pangunahing pangangailangan natin sa araw-araw.
Effects of climate change in biodiversity in health. Biodiversity loss can destabilize ecosystem and promotes outbreaks of infectious disease.
It refers to all the variety of life that can be found on Earth. So from microorganisms, from plants, animals, and fungi, and so on.
The implementation of laws in the Philippines recognizing the protection and restoration of biodiversity, such things like the land protected areas, the wildlife conservation like sanctuary of endangered species, and so much more, to ensure that biodiversity will balance in the ecosystem. Thank you so much for watching, and this is the STS student of MMG College of General Santos City.